Hello. I thought I'd make a quick buyer's guide on the Cybergun Desert Eagle L6 CO2 full auto. When I bought this, I couldn't really find some good guides on how to properly adjust the hub up and how to properly lubricate it. So that's what I'm gonna show you. Let's start up with the hub up. To get to the hub up, you need to insert the magazine and press this button right here. While you hold this down, on the other side there's this little switch that you can pop like that. Make sure that you have the magazine in and don't have CO2 in the magazine when you do this. Now you can just pull this top part off and lay this down somewhere carefully. Okay, so first let me just show you where the hub is located. I don't know if I can get it to focus, but okay, I can't get it to focus, but I'm gonna insert a picture of how it looks in there. So basically, there's like this little circle in here that you can turn to both sides. If you turn it to the right, it's gonna get more hop, and if you turn it to the left, so counterclockwise, it's gonna get less hop. Counterclockwise, less hop. Clockwise, more hop. But it's actually not that simple. It's a little bit confusing with this hop up. So basically, even if you turn it counterclockwise, so it should get less hop, it's actually gonna get more hop. That it can be very confusing. So what I did, I played a little bit around with it. With 0.28 gram BBs, it's perfect if you place it just in the middle where it actually starts. That's what I would recommend. Sometimes like you would spend a lot of time like jiggling around and not getting any better results. So in the middle with 0.28 works really well for me. To reassemble it, you just basically place it down here where it fits in and slide it back in. You can just pop the switch back up and you can try to pull it back, and it's now fully reassembled. Now I'm going to show you how to lubricate it and clean it out. To do that, I'm just going to take this old newspaper and place it under here so I don't get the silicone all over my table. Okay, just like that. Okay, at first I want to take out the magazine. Just pop it, that switch actually doesn't matter. You're gonna okay. So now basically you can start by pulling this back. Now you're going to need a screwdriver. And it's a little star screwdriver, and if you look very closely, I'm gonna insert a picture of this as well, but right in here there's a little screw, and what you want to do is you want to actually it's an Allen key, so get this out of the way. Little teeny tiny Allen key. So what you want to do is you want to actually turn it in, and you want to very carefully turn it around, basically like one time around, and you need to keep track of exactly how much you turned it, basically. So turn clockwise, that was a half. I'm going to turn it all the way around. Okay, like that. So now I can release the slide, and what it has done, it actually locked the trigger. So if the trigger is locked, you know you've done this correctly. Okay, so now you can basically just press this button in and flip the switch like before. Pull out the first part and then just slide the slide right off like this. Okay, and now you can start with the cleaning. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take some toilet paper, and as you can see in here, it's gotten pretty dirty. I've played around with it in a forest area, so it gets dirty real quick. You have to clean it out very often, especially when it like rains. The water can get in everywhere and take dirt with it. So I'm just gonna clean it out like this. Okay, and I just want to say I'm not an expert in how and where like you want to lubricate it, but I'm just gonna show you like the basics of actually lubricating it. How you want to lubricate it, and it's very important that you don't over lubricate it, and also you really don't want anything to go into the hub up, because hub up works based around friction, and if you get lubrication in there, it's gonna remove the friction and actually mess with the hub up, and it can be very frustrating. It will go away eventually, but don't do that, trust me. I'm just gonna spray a little bit in here. I'm just gonna pass it around with my finger because I don't want it to get into the hub up. If I get it around, if I get the oil in here, it's gonna get into the hub up and get onto the BBs. We don't want that. I'm going to gently spray some oil on here. Just pass it around with my finger. Do the same over here. And just gently put oil everywhere. That was this part. You don't actually like have to do it everywhere on both of these parts because it's like the same rails, but just make sure that it gets everywhere. Okay, you're gonna have to put some here and up here trails under here, and in here. Make sure you have like clean fingers when you start doing this. I know I have a little dirt on here, but it's not too bad. It's just from the previous oil that was here. I'm basically just passing around a little dirt in here. That's why my fingers get dirty. Okay. Now to this part. I'm going to put some oil right here on the top of the slide. Make sure you don't over lubricate it, guys. It's going to extract a lot of dirt if you do that. Some here and up here on the rail, just like that. Now what we want to do is we want to reassemble this. It can be a little bit tricky, but it's actually not very hard. The most like tricky part about it is these springs that you want to get probably into the spring guide. So the spring guide, like where the spring should sit, is right here. So that's where you want the spring to go. My spring's still sitting in here, so I can just like this, take it from the top right here. See if I can like insert it in here like that. And now just guide the springs with your finger down there, so they sit nicely down there. Might have to like need to make sure that the springs are properly placed. And so basically what you want to do now is you want to press the trigger. Okay, you might not have seen that, but now it's just have to like slide it on. You might have to press down the trigger when you slide it on. So now I've done that. I'm just gonna clean my hands again. They're getting real dirty by that silicone roll. Try not to touch the places that you've lubricated. That's just done by me. Now, once you get this part, slide it in, and lock this in place. And now you want to grab some more paper and clean it on the outside so you don't get silicone oil everywhere. If you lubricate it a little bit too much, it might get out everywhere on the sides, and you don't want that basically because your hands are gonna get dirty, and it's also gonna attract dirt if there's silicone on here, they're just gonna stick to here, and when this part moves because of the blowback, it's gonna get dirt right into the gun. Don't want that. Okay, like that. Also, I see something here. Okay, so now you might notice the trigger doesn't work. That's because we've actually locked the trigger when we tightened in the screw back here. So you want to do that, lock it in here, and now it's important to remember how many times you turn it, because you're going to turn it exactly the same amount. So I'm going to turn it like okay. So now you might experience like if the trigger doesn't click probably every time. That's because you need to turn it out a little bit more. Just gonna do that real quick, like that. And now the trigger should function normally every time, like that. And when it does that, it means that you are basically finished with lubricating the gun. I'm just gonna clean up real quick and then I'm gonna come back. Okay, so now we have probably lubricated the gun. The slide, like, it feels so much more smooth. It's never been this smooth before, actually. Real nice. So basically now what we can do is we can insert some SC2 cartridge. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to take your magazine, unscrew this thing right here with an Allen key, pop down the CO2 cartridge, and tighten it. You're gonna hear a little pop. Just tighten it a little bit more. After you hit a pop, you don't want to tighten it too much. Now, just unload the other one, load the magazine in, and now you want to drag back the slide, and there's gonna come a BB in the chamber, and now you're ready to shoot. So that was pretty much all.